Hello Daily Drafters and welcome back to the channel for week 3 of the Arena Gauntlet League. This is the Duskmourn Arena Gauntlet League. For those of you that have not watched week 1 or week 2, or week 0 for that matter, which kind of explains what this is, I'm going to go ahead and link those videos both in the description and potentially in the upper right hand corner. I think I tried that for the last one and some of you saw it, some of you didn't. I'm not exactly sure how it works. I do my best. But this deck on your screen is the deck we're going to start week 3 with here. We've got a red-white aggro deck. We've got removal with Trapped in the Screen, Omen of the Forge, Scorching Dragonfire, a lot of creatures, a couple of finishers with some 6-drops, Fear of Abduction, Most Valuable Slayer, Toby. Got some nice rares, you know, Dollmaker Shop, Elspeth Conquers Death. It's going to be a fun deck to pilot into week 3 of the league here. So we start this week with a record of 6-4 in 35th place. There are currently at the time 123 active members in the league this week. We are starting against Oompa Loompa, who is 4-4. With a dread level of 60, dread level equals deck size, ranked 64th, playing Jund today. So we are starting on the play and already presented with an awkward decision that we do have to send back and take the mulligan on. So for those of you that haven't watched week 1 or 2, I am commenting over the top of this video post-production, a little bit of commentary style. So I already know what goes on. Spoiler, spoiler. But I'll also be cutting in and out of these games so as to make this this experience a little less than 3 hours for you, which is usually what it takes to record 5 best-of-3 matches each of these weeks in the Gauntlet League. So, starting on the play, Acrobatic Cheerleader much better on the play than on the draw, and we are off to a nice start here, playing against red-black with a green splash as well, as you saw in the opener there, and our creatures go down. So our first turns are pretty easily kind of like decided for us here. I mean, playing some 1/1s, playing some 2/2s, so on and so forth, getting in with the attacks, and off we go. Let's see what Oompa Loompa does to respond to our aggressive start here. Again, still just representing red and black. And Enduring Courage, which is a busted card. Much better when you're on the aggressive side of things, so I will take it here. But still a very good card, and I mean, if I can't close out this game quickly, then there's a chance that that card will, because even if it dies here, which he does choose to block, still gets the enchantment with the effect here. So all of his creatures get +2/+0 in haste. So I haven't lost much life. I haven't drawn much more, honestly, here later in the game. He's developed his board, got a little bit of green mana, Enduring Courage still down. I've got just one creature at this point, so I don't have a lot going for me. And he's at 8, I'm at 12 now. Disturbing Mirth has drawn some extra cards. And once again, Enduring Courage just doing some serious work. Getting rid of my only creature, which makes sense, and we'll just keep drawing lands here. That's what we love to do here on the channel, for those of you that are new. We are very, very good at drawing lands. Again, with a bunch of haste. The good news is 4 cards in hand and 8 mana or whatever, and didn't have a creature to play necessarily, so yeah, we just, you know, 2 turns in a row, drew lands. That's a big hasty boy. And that'll be game 1. Enduring Courage pretty much just stole the show. Not much to say about that. Choose not to sideboard anything. I took a look at my sideboard in between the games here and decided it wasn't worth making any changes. So I kept the same starting deck that I had here. And we have to hope the Enduring Courage doesn't make an appearance in this game too, because that was pretty rough. Here is Hand That Feeds. Now we have a really interesting decision, having drawn the Dollmaker's Shop, so I can play the shop and attack with Fear of Surveillance. They will likely trade, but I'll get a 1/1. or I can be mana efficient and put counters on my creatures. And if he chooses to trade with the Percussionist, then I get to effectively draw a card next turn. It's hard to put this on the bottom, and unfortunately, you're going to see when they know that you have Sheltered by Ghosts effectively in your hand, it makes the card a lot worse. So all he has to do is not play a creature this turn, and then I lose access to Sheltered by Ghosts. So that's kind of annoying. Not to mention, now Dollmaker's Shop isn't going to be able to trigger. So we skip ahead a little bit. Not much has changed here. I do end up playing the Split Skin Doll after playing my 1/1. Play the Dollmaker's Shop, and then I attack, and we got lucky. Last turn was just a Disturbing Mirth, sacrificing the Glassworks. And if he's not able to deal with, you know, the Dollmaker's Shop Porcelain Gallery, my creatures are going to get enormous in a hurry. You know, this board doesn't look very threatening, and I didn't even realize at the time. Okay, so leaving open one swamp, this makes me think it's Final Vengeance here, but it is just Defile Crypt Cadaver Lab. So go ahead and get back a creature, make a 2/2. I didn't even realize this was going to happen in the moment, but just unlocking this, a 1/1, a 2/1, and a 1/1 attack with everything turns into 3 4/4s attacking. That makes another 4/4. Like, absolutely insane when the Porcelain Gallery Dollmaker's Shop goes off here. So there's really nothing he could have at this point with Omen of the Forge in hand. And Scorching Dragonfire is the draw. We didn't have to show him either card as well, which was nice. So again, no changes between game 2 and 3. An easy mulligan once again in game 3. With a better hand here, and I spent a little bit of time figuring out what to put back. And I believe I ultimately decide on plains, because even if I miss my third land, I still have 3 plays I can make with Orphans, Omen, and Glimmerlight. And by that point, we'd have had 3 or 4 shots at a third land here, so it's what I decide to go with here. Might end up regretting that, but then I would have had to put back a relevant card, which is also kind of annoying. Fear of Surveillance, not a bad top deck here, because that does let me get a Surveil in, most likely. I mean, if they play a creature that's like an X3 or something, I can use Glassworks to kill it. Hand that feeds. So it's kind of an annoying turn. I mean, I can attack with the Fear and trade. I could play Glassworks on something and trade, which both of those... I mean, I don't want to play Glassworks on one of these two things. The Omen of the Forge can deal with either of them. I could play Glimmerlight, equip, attack, but then I still only trade with one creature. So what I decide to do is play the Glimmerlight and then equip it to the Glimmer, so I actually have... Never mind. Maybe that's what I wanted to do. It's been a little while since I've done these. So I actually equip it to the Fear so that I can stave off both attackers, I suppose. Either play is defensible, I suppose. Okay, no attacks. That's what you want to see. Now, I really do wish I would have sideboarded out Infernal Phantom, and you'll see, I think, after this game, I just take it out of the deck entirely. But, you know, playing a card like this for 4 mana, and then having Scorching Dragonfire just ruin your life is just not a fun thing to do. So yeah, Scorching Dragonfire wrecked us there. So we skipped later in the game, got a ton of lands on both sides. We're at 13, they're at 9. They have 2 fully unlocked Shattered Yards beating us down here. And we attack with a couple of creatures. And we have a Glassworks waiting. So any creature that he plays effectively can't, with 4 toughness or less, is most likely going to die. It's usually a good sign if he's using a 5 mana removal spell on our 2/2 that has an equipment on it. So we're just trying to fade a couple of draw steps here, it looks like. We currently win this race, but Vile Mutilator changes that math quite quickly, unfortunately. But fortunately, we flip over Trapped in the Screen, which is what we needed, like, right now. There wasn't really another turn we could have waited to have that card. Again, we do still win this race if nothing changes here. And we have a removal spell sitting on board. So the spot is not a bad spot to be in. We obviously need to draw something. And that is not something. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of a potential hand smoother and kill their gremlin. Play the land and once again pass it back and hope the top of the deck cooperates. Defiled Crypt Cadaver Lab is not good for us. Very good top deck there. Gets a 2/2, plays a 2/2 that also attacks as a 4/2. We're at 10 now. We draw a Fear of Being Hunted, which is like fine. Well, I mean, it kills both their creatures, technically. They have to block. They're more than likely going to double block. So we're just kind of constantly spinning our wheels here. And the turn put them to 4. Trying to race. Okay, no plays. Not bad. Once again, land. No plays. Pass it back. Go to 3. Land. Okay. Dollmaker's Shop does not really do anything here, unfortunately. I spent a little time figuring out what to do with this. If I play Porcelain Gallery, any creature that I draw is going to be a 1/1 because creatures are equal to the power and toughness of creatures you control. So even if I draw like a 5/5, the Porcelain Gallery would override that and make it a 1/1. Now, does that really matter? I mean, they're at 3. They have 2 turns to figure out a way to win this game here. So basically, I'm hoping my Shattered Yard is going to hit them 3 more times, and any creature I draw is probably just going to chump whatever creature they draw. So Terramorphic Expanse, and here's the key. I told you they were Jund, right? Here's the green, and they draw exactly another forest, because he told me after the game that he was waiting on green mana to slam down the bomb of all bombs, Valgavoth's Onslaught, for 4. And we are 1 turn away, unfortunately. So, yep, that's a spell that gives 4 6/6s. And we draw 2/2. He goes to 1. And that's not enough. Very, very close game here, but unfortunately, we were not able to get it done. And take the loss 1 turn away with the Valgavoth's Onslaught sitting in hand and no green mana. So in they come and down we go. So started off 6-4 this week. We go from 6-4 in 35th place to a record of 6-5 and move down to 42nd place, sitting behind Oblivion, an opponent we've already played, and Robespierre, sitting a little bit above Robespierre, an opponent we've also played. Oompa Loompa sitting a bit lower than we were as well. Our comeback pack that I chose was Karlov Manor, and we did get a Krenko's Buzz Crusher, which is a pretty decent card we can add into our deck. So this is the deck that I am bringing into match number 11. I brought in the Buzz Crusher, the Frantic Scapegoat, and the Case of the Burning Masks. And I decided to take out Diversion Specialist, Infernal Phantom, and the 6-drop Shepherding Spirits. So we are heading into the next match against Beggin' Blue, 4-6, ranked 77 with a dread level of 50, playing Naya. Alright, here we are in our 12th match against Beggin' Blue, and we have a treat for us here today. We have Beggin' Blue joining us on voice chat while we play this game. How's it going, Beggin' Blue?
Going pretty well, having a good morning over here in Europe, and looking forward to play my first first league match.
Awesome. Sounds good. Good luck. Have fun. I will be keeping this hand.
Same, that's a keeper. It's gonna be interesting against your match. You have a clean 60,
I
now
have a
playing with
clean.
50,
Yeah, I've got the 60.
because
And what are you at here? 56? 54? Oh, 50.
50.
We're all the way down
No,
to 50.
I am going down, both on the standings and the lead deck size.
Well, you have lucked out with my top decks here to start. Have not been great, so it's not like my aggro deck is putting too much pressure on you.
Well, I mean, I also consider this a bit of an aggro deck usually, and now you would think, oh well, where's the pressure? Well, hell, say hello to the pressure.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
guy's flying around everywhere. I mean, oh no, she's a she.
Let's use one of the
Screaming
better
them.
removal spells in the deck to get rid of it.
Ooh. Well. Sure. It's going to run out of playables sometime.
Well, I guess removal's good, right?
Dang. Let's see. Oh yeah.
Alright, Gremlin and Automaton. So it looks like a base green-red deck, maybe splashing for some white with Agra's Cost and something else here? Not exactly sure. Let's see.
Well, I was also looking into your side, and yes, red-white I was considering for you. And if I have to guess, you don't draw your green. We might be on the same colors.
Maybe
That's
we will
just
see, who knows?
guessing.
What do we do here? 6 mana. Got a 2/2, got Menace. Yeah, it's not the best use of this, but you know, it's not horrible.
Oh yeah, now you have that 15-turn clock on me.
There we go. Now it's down to 12.
Oh, it's not bad, not bad, not bad. Wait. Sure.
Another one.
Another one.
At least there's no delirium yet. Oh man, come on, deck. Alright. Well. Cross your fingers, no removal. Every time I play this card, it seems to die the next turn, which makes sense. It's a big removal target, but
Yes, that would be such a shame.
it'd be such a shame if
Really?
it survived.
So it would be so devastating.
Oh, but you also had the 5 drop in hand.
Oh yeah.
Oh, does that give you delirium? Oh, it does.
Let's see. Do we have another Glassworks? Let's try hard. You do not only a ticket booth. That's nice. That means I can just pump that gremlin, send him to the gym,
Alright.
give him the creatine he craves. I love that guy. It's so awesome. This wacky little one drop has the highest win rate under the comments.
I know.
I mean, it's just the perfect delirium fodder. Yeah, I don't give up life points. have your stuff.
Have my card. Alright, we will play that
Toby.
card.
Neat.
Okay, down to 5, but you got a lot of fodder left in hand here. At least I don't see a Valgavoth's Onslaught in your pool. I've played against that card too many times.
One time is too many.
I think it's been 3 so far for me.
Oh, that's rough. Well, sure, let's... Nope.
Ooh, what is this? That is a lot of damage is what that is.
Mm-hmm. Good thing you have to do a really bad block if you want to, like...
And it gains trample next turn, so I have like 1 turn here. Let's see. I mean, I'm effectively dead on board next turn. So I have to hope for a top deck here. I could chump block with Toby, but then that... Again, I'm still dead next turn. Your blocks aren't great. You have to take a minimum of 2, so you're effectively at 2 life here. So, I mean, I kind of have to draw removal, haste, or I'm dead either way. So, let's just bank on a top deck. Does that do anything here? So if I attack with both creatures, you have to trade and or chump. I guess you could chump the 4/4, take 2, then you have 10 damage, potentially 11 trample damage here. One's got menace. Lots of math. Unfortunately, I mean, you're gonna have, so you block there, you take 2, you go to 3. This attacks and puts 2 counters, that puts another one, so you have 10, 11, 12, 13 points of trample. Could just give it here, block. I don't think I can afford to attack, unfortunately. And I guess I could trade the Gremlin for a 2/2, but that doesn't really solve my... Maybe it solves my issue, I don't really know. Let's see. Or was it an instant?
Well, if this were to be some kind of instant stuff, well, Unwanted Remake, you would have slammed that. Seized by the Slumber as well. If I'm like going like hard on the... Yeah, if you played, if you had Jump Scare, you would have already cast that. I would have been dead without much thinking. I'm pretty sure.
Jump Scare would have done it.
Yep.
But it was not Jump Scare, in fact. Haven't done the math, but I'm pretty sure it's... Yeah, that's got haste as well. So, that is GG, I believe, in game 1.
Mm-hmm. Unless you do have, if you like whipped out the remake just this moment to take out the fly trap after all this,
That would have been pretty
that
funny.
would have, oh my god, it would have been hilarious.
All
It
right.
is an interesting matchup with two very aggressive decks because the early weeks of the league are always slow, clunky. But this is always the week where people come into their own.
Yeah.
Where you can't expect your bombs to always survive very long, though clearly your fear of abduction didn't have that expectation from the start.
Yeah, that usually just dies. But there's a decent number of combos with it in this deck here, like with Toby, you know, bringing it back to my hand, replaying it, get another 4/4, things like that.
Oh yeah, nice. Also, Manifest Dread has been the MVP for me because, as you noticed, my deck has multiple fly traps.
Yeah, it's true.
So I have to go hard on the Delirium. Ooh,
A nice little
interesting
combo here. This is a new addition to the deck after my latest comeback back, so puts you in an
Not
kind of an
bad.
awkward spot, maybe.
Sanitation Automaton, still one of the good pulls from MKM. Just very solid in a deck that cares about Delirium.
So the only card I can see for 1 green is Coordinated Clobbering in the pool, which is a sorcery. There's Bear Trap, but you haven't gotten priority, so this would force a double trade here, and it's about the best I can hope for.
Auto priority snitching on me.
Oh, and it was Agri's Cost. Alright, no white mana just yet. Let's see if you've got it in hand, though.
Well, let's gamble.
Oh, with Delirium.
Hell yeah.
Alright.
That's what I mean. I wanted the automaton to die.
Yeah, that makes sense. Artifact
The
creature.
Argos cause was, of course, bitter. But, you know, when you make an omelette.
I have not played this card much, but it is very good when it enters the battlefield.
Oh dear god.
I can't imagine much of a better target. Pushes 1 damage, but that's not that important. So we'll go ahead and kill that, push it down to 12 here. And I guess Fear of Being Hunted is the only target we currently have for Chapter 3. Yeah, so
Or a
put 3
cold
counters.
healer. Wouldn't that be great? You get a chump block and get him back.
I mean, it would prevent... It would prevent you getting... What is this? Put 3 counters, it becomes a 3/3.
Yeah.
So, interestingly... Alright, I guess you get your 3/3.
I didn't want to correct you, it wouldn't have prevented it, because he needs to be tapped, he doesn't need to deal combat damage.
That is true. Alright, what can we do here? Oh, this is an enchantment creature. I was like, why did that trigger? Alright, well this was quite the top deck.
Not bad. Oh, that's rough.
Oh man. Question is, do I attack with the goat as well, or are you just going to still chump block here? You go to 2. No, I think I'll just keep it like this.
I wouldn't have been able to jump block because I'm forced to block.
Well, the goat would have put you were at 12, and the goat would have put you to 1. Oh, you were forced to block the fear. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yes,
Missed that.
yes,
Forgot about
yes,
that.
yes.
All right, so that was a small mistake. Hopefully the game doesn't come down to 1 life point, but we'll see.
Well,
All right, that's a little bit of life gain.
mm,
The Rootwise Survivor is turning all your lands into 3/3s potentially, but see what else is in hand. Not bad, not bad.
Careless Celebrant is one of the few Theros uncommons that are anyone can be happy to put into their deck.
Yeah, I would love a copy of that, but my Theros packs yielded other uncommons here. So, forced to block the fear, but not double block. Cult Healer at 10. Yeah, I mean, this Rootwise Survivor is being very annoying. Let's just try this here. So, obviously representing the trade with fear of being hunted. Taking 4. Sure. Alright, we'll pass it back here.
Sure. The only problem is I have to tip my hand, but I guess it's worth it.
Okay.
One, two. Yeah, that's enough.
This thing has been a problem, making creature after creature. Horde Caller is also a pretty big problem here, but...
Yes, Survivor would have pumped up the land. I would have just chosen the 3/3 into a 6/6.
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about that text as well. It's not make a new one, it's just put counters on it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, unfortunately this combo here with Horde Caller means any attack that I do with Cult Healer is just negated every single turn by a 1/1 being created. So, I mean, I kind of have to hope you don't draw anything. Cult Healer holds back your whole team. Because if I attack and you just chump with a 1/1, the next turn you attack with a 4/4 and make another one. So, that is a constant loop that doesn't really work in my favor.
Of course, the fun part is that I get more hot stuff in a 50-card deck.
That is true.
The chances... Well, like I said, making an omelet.
We kind of have to just make the trade here. Got a couple of 1/1s. Cryptid Inspector, sure. Well, 6 is certainly not 0, and it's not like I have a lot of great attacks, so, yeah, go ahead. It's a top deck war. Interesting. If I've learned anything, it's to never block the monkey.
Well, I guess...
Oh no. Oh boy. What do we have here? Infuriate, turn inside out. There's all kinds of things this could be. You've also got double Horrid Vigor, Death Touch and Indestructible. Death Touch is horrible for me. Yeah, whatever that was a nice top deck, I am sure. So, see if I double block with something on a 3/3 or a 2/3, and you've got Horrid Vigor. I mean, you've got 6 creatures to my 1 at that point.
It is always so tempting to like give like, is it good advice, bad advice? I always do board gaming nights. Always also at university I did it for like 20 people or something. And social deduction games were always my favorites. That's also what I love about Magic. Who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly.
So it, you know, when you're just thinking, oh, is he telling the truth? Is he hiding? Is he bluffing? Love it.
Yeah.
Instant speed is always my favorite kind of interaction. And that's also now the fun moment for you, of course.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it certainly very tough. So if I took it all, it's 5, 6, 7, 8. So I would not be dead to Infuriate or Turn Inside Out, but I'm still just like not in a great spot. If I blocked
I mean, from my perspective, it's just that if I pressure you, you go down first.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's the thing I can just say by looking at the board.
It's just the most valuable Slayer is obviously my most valuable creature representing blocks, but if I don't block this turn and then I don't draw anything next turn, the same thing's going to happen again. So, I mean,
of course, life is just a resource.
Yeah. I just have to hope that whatever's on the top of the deck is slightly better.
I am so tempted to press that button. Wait.
What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck?
There you go.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
that's why I splash white.
Probably do it. And I believe that likely does it, as the last 3 draws for me were all lands, and I have done nothing. It was Horrid Vigor, didn't matter. And we lost to a couple of non-lands for you and 3 straight lands for me. That's what it feels like it's been happening a lot lately. But it is what it is. In an aggro deck, when you're in that kind of spot, it's tough.
To be fair, I was at 6 lands as well.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, I've got, what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 2 in hand here, but...
Well, yes, aggro decks in the league are always a bit rough. You know, playing limited at 60 cards changes the game quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got about twice the white cards in my pool as I do any other color, so it's really tough to not play white, which is a very aggressive color in this set,
yes.
but a little difficult. But I've had some success, and then when the game gets to points like that, a War Leader's Call will do it.
Oh, definitely.
Thanks again to Beggin' Blue for playing that and getting on voice with me here. We go from 6 and 5 in 42nd place to 6 and 6. Interestingly, didn't lose any places with that. Still in 42nd. And we've got an uphill battle to climb here now. Once again, when we hit our 11th loss, we are eliminated from the tournament entirely. So, the comeback pack I chose was a Duskmourn comeback pack, and there is another most valuable Slayer there. So, the change I make is to bring that one in and take out the Unicorn, the Captivating Unicorn 5-drop, for the next match, which is match number 13 here. And the deck is still humming along with a dread level of 60. We are 6-6, rank 42, going against Alifos with a record of 8-5 and rank 13. So challenged myself a little bit this time around to play a little bit above my my win-loss record bracket, but hopefully it'll help my opponent match win percentage tiebreaker in the event that we are able to win this one. Because we are going to need all the help we can get to attempt to get to top 8. Usually in these leagues, with members of about 125 people, top 8 usually needs about 21-9 over the course of 6 weeks. To get that, maybe 20-10 on tiebreakers will get you there, but it's going to be a tough one. So we start off this one by missing land drop number 3, always fun to do. But he did mulligan to 5, so at least that helps us out a little bit. You never really want people to mulligan to 5, but we kind of all have to do it sometimes. So yeah, we'll keep this land here. And I'm deciding between Dragonfire and Omen. He is playing blue, so I think about removing it now so I don't have to deal with a potential counterspell. But if he wants to counter an Omen to the Forge, I feel like that's fine. I can afford to take 2 here to see if there's something better that's played that I'd rather Dragonfire. And there is not, so we'll let him resolve a Thirst for Meaning. And we will go ahead and get rid of this Piranha Fly here. And next turn, it's a pretty easy Cult Healer on 3 to try to keep the pressure on. So that's what I do post-combat, like a good boy. Get rid of the Phantom. Lands are actually better. We've got Elspeth Conquers Death in hand. There's always a nice card if you can resolve. We haven't resolved it very much in this series, but yeah. Skip ahead. I mean, he hasn't really done much more here. We're still at 21. We've only played out a couple more cards out of our hand. He's got a couple creatures. We have got him down to 6. We played another removal spell. He's also removed the Cult Healer, so on and so forth. And the aggro deck is looking to put the pressure on the Esper deck here. Because it goes ahead and trades and chumps with the other one, just so that he's not dead on board to a friendly ghost next turn. And we've got haste with the Scapegoat. Glimmer Seeker's nice as well. Our case is solved over there on the right, so we have a little bit more card draw if we need it. And looks like we drew the land for ECD, but we don't have any targets for it. So I'm going to go ahead and crack this case and see if there's anything we can find off the top of our deck that might help us in this combat here. Or at least I think that's what I did. Taking me a while to figure out if that's what I wanted to do in the moment. Clearly he's got something. I mean, he's not dead on board, so could just be passing with nothing, but I'd like to see if I can get a little bit of help from the top of my deck here. And the Elegant Rotunda technically is lethal. I kind of regret not taking the Buzz Crusher here. In retrospect, that seems pretty good. But I figure that just presenting lethal is also a decent thing to do. But I actually choose not to go for it because clearly he's got something in hand. So putting the counters on the creatures is just going to get something killed and lose me that value here. So I'm expecting like the friendly ghost to die, and then I could put the counters on the 1/1 and the 2/1, and then next turn it's still lethal. So my expectations were met. And we can add another creature to the board here. Skip forward just a little bit. He had to go do something on his turn. Took a little bit of a time, and we pass it back to us. We play our frantic Scapegoat. put some counters down, and he's got to have 2 removal spells here. Let's see if he's got it. And technically didn't need to. 1 will do the trick. Erebos' Intervention from Theros Beyond Death. Gaining the life to help him get back to his turn, but couldn't find the answer off the top of the deck. So we do take game 1 here against Alifos with our nice aggressive start. Texted in the bottom left saying staved it off for a bit with the intervention there. And chose not to sideboard in between either of these games. Our opponent did mulligan here, and once again, in game 2, was forced to mulligan to 5. Same opponent, same multi 5. Bit of an unfortunate situation. Alright, Glimmerlight. Hopefully we draw another creature, but no, just lands. So we'll just play our doll and then rummage away one of these lands here. Okay, found the Terramorphic Expanse for the second color of blue. Equip the 1/1 and hold it back to block more than likely here. So now we can play Screaming Nemesis and attack with both. I could attack with both, but what I actually do is attack here because I do have Most Valuable Slayer coming next turn, which means if he doesn't have any more creatures, that can allow attacks for both of my creatures. So that's why I chose not to trade the 2/1 there. So we'll go ahead and slam the MVS. And still not willing to trade the Split Skin Doll for just 1 creature. So I attack with a 4/3 first strike. He takes it because this jump scare later in this game could help us. So we skip ahead a little bit. He's used Sheltered by Ghosts on my Screaming Nemesis. He's at 10, I'm at 20. But I do have Jump Scare and Most Valuable Slayer, along with an Orphans of the Wheat here. So there could be some like tricky jump scare business. I'm doing the math right now. Jump Scare plus Orphans currently is only 7 in the air. So assuming he takes Split Skin Doll here, that is lethal next turn. So that's what I'm playing towards. So Split Skin Doll deals 3, and next turn Orphans can attack with flying as a 4/3 and tap down all my other creatures to gain 3 more power to go up to 7. I just have to hope that the Unwilling Vessel doesn't attack here. That's the only thing, because it does have lifelink. So let's see if the Vessel attacks. And it does not, which means we have effectively won the game with a Jump Scare and an Orphans of the Wheat, which is a nice little combo if you're if you're asking me. Just making sure nothing's got reach and that I'm doing this math right. And there we go. That is an attack for 9. So we take down the opponent with a better record than us, going from 6-6 in 42nd place, with an opponent match win percentage tiebreaker of 48.22 to 7-6. Improved OMW a little bit, but we moved up to 25th in the league. 25th out of 123, 125 is not too bad if you ask me. So, heading into the 4th match of the week, we're 7-6 going against Why Not in 5th place with a dread level, deck size of 76, and a record of 10-3. So very clearly punching above my weight class here, but I need to get that OMW tiebreaker up a little bit if I want any chance to make top 8 in this league here. So, have to start with a mulligan, but at least it's not going to 5. Glimmerlight sounds good. We'll play our only creature, Orphans of the Wheat. In comes Haunted Screen. Once that, turns into a 7/7, that makes life a little difficult for us. And you're going to see a nice little combo here with Dollmaker's Shop making a 1/1 on attacks from the Orphan, which you can then use to tap and pump the Orphan. Nice little combo for those of you still drafting Duskmourn out there. So we can't cast Fear of Being Hunted, but we've got Grand Entryway Elegant Rotunda as well. Okay, take 2. And what is the follow-up? Got 5 mana. It's a good amount of mana. Sawblade Skin Ripper, and you're about to see why this opponent is 10-3 and in 5th place in this league, because this turn absolutely decimates me here. So they sacrifice their creature, they wipe my whole board, and they end up with a 4/3 menace for their troubles. Yeah, that was really, really annoying. The Dollmaker's Shop Porcelain Gallery is really good when you are assertive. We unfortunately have been put on the back foot quite quickly here. So I go ahead and just play a couple of cards out of my hand. Not much else I can do. I guess I could have attacked with Percussionist and used... No, I can't even have done that and used Omen of the Forge to finish off the Skin Ripper because I only had access to 1 red mana. Waltz of Rage. Yeah, let's wipe my board again. Why not? And we flip a jump scare. So we skip ahead a little bit. We still don't have that 5th land. And they got a 7/7, a 4/3 menace, and a 4/4 haste that makes a 1/1. We never really got our feet under us this game. We just... That play where wiped our board, and then we're just also stuck on mana. Haven't really done much here. I can deal 7 to something. Obviously, I'm dead in multiple different ways next turn. There's not much I can do to get out of this. I mean, I have to kind of get rid of their 7/7 and then draw 2 removal spell. I can't even... There's nothing I can do. So we draw 1 removal spell, but 1 is unfortunately not enough. So we pack it in for game 1. And between game 1 and 2, I do go ahead and make a couple sideboarding decisions. I go ahead and bring in the Seize from Slumber, because I feel like he's got just a couple of big creatures if I deal with those. That can do well, as well as the Unicorn to tap those down and bring out the small removal. Because creatures seem to be on the bigger side. So the Omen of the Forge sat in our hand the whole game and didn't really have great target. So I go ahead and took that out as well. So, starting with Fear of Surveillance here. And have a couple removal spells. Definitely going to need to kill that very quickly. And that's a pretty good top deck, because now we can Dragonfire and Percussionist here. So that's a pretty good spot to be. And I'll take my second white source here. Innocuous Rat seems fine to me. So this turn, I obviously don't want the Glassworks. I can't Trial of Agony, so I'm going to go ahead and be mana efficient and put a couple counters on my creatures here. That way I can also attack, and I don't feel like I need the Raucous Carnival for the Shattered Yard. I feel like I'll draw my 5th land naturally at some point. So we skip ahead a little bit. We just now found our 5th land after all this time. they have both drawn and animated a haunted screen in the meantime. We got a few creatures on the board, but the board is stalled here. I can't attack past that 7/7, and the fear of abduction is just gonna have to deal with it. That's about all I can really hope for here. So I go ahead and take it this turn because I would like to, fear of abduction, the Glimmer, as my least relevant creature. And them attacking with a 7/7 means they drew another big creature, because otherwise they would have held that back to block. So yeah, kind of stuck here. I mean, fighting an uphill battle now with a 5/6 menace facing us down. Got a Glimmer Seeker. I mean, I can remove their Ragged Playmate or something so that the House Cartographer can't hit us freely, but yeah, we really need that 6th land, and we skip ahead. We just consistently had to chump here, and we finally find this 6th land. Thank goodness, right in time. Because we hadn't really drawn much else relevant creatures. We drew the Case of the Burning Mask, which killed something, but we are both at 6 now. And I was dead on board if I didn't have anything else here. So I'm deciding whether or not I want to cast the Fear or if I want to use the Case. But I wisely remember to attack first because I have to exile the MVS no matter what. So I get a couple points of damage in, play the land, play the Fear of Abduction, exile their Haunted Screen and my most valuable Slayer, and try to fade a top deck. So many of these matches have come down to like the absolute last turn of the game, which has been both fun and frustrating. But I mean, that's what you want, right? You want good matches, you want good games. So here we are, just trying to fade a top deck. The Bedhead Beastie's going to hit us for 5. And the Fear does the job. So we go to game 3. I bring in Push, Pull, and take out the Unicorn here now that I'm on the draw. I don't want the Unicorn. I feel like with the multiple land cyclers that I saw, I could get a little cheeky with a pull win. And for 6 mana, pull a couple of cards out of their graveyard to win the match. So try to give that a shot here. So let's see if that ends up being relevant or not. Don't like seeing Twitching Doll on 2, but there's really not anything I can do about it currently. So I have to just attack and play Fear of Surveillance, basically. And then Glassworks on turn 3, more than likely. Okay, now we drew another creature. So, do I kill the Twitching Doll? The answer is yes, I do. Never leave a Twitching Doll unattended. Don't think I need my 5th land to be kept on top. No responses, 3 mana, turn 3. And no instant speed, so it's a fine spot for me to be in here. Find the 4th mana. And what is the play on 4? Cathartic Parting. Yeah, that's fine if that's really all he's got as far as removal goes. So we can play Cult Healer and then also hold up Jump Scare in the event that he's got like a Scorching Dragonfire or something. Plus, Veteran Survivor. Don't look now, but only needs 1 more survival trigger to turn into like a 5/4 first strike flying or something stupid. And I do decide to eat their Razorkin Horde Caller with my Cult Healer here. And Raucous Carnival coming in clutch as an untapped land, because now the Veteran Survivor is guaranteed to survive combat, which is kind of nuts. I don't think I've ever, both in draft and in this Gauntlet League, had Veteran Survivor actually get to the point where it gains flying, but it is now a 6/5 hexproof. Oh, it doesn't gain flying. It's a 6/5 hexproof. Still pretty good. We have ECD in hand. Says good game. Don't know what he had in hand there, but wasn't enough to help us come back from 25th place with a record of 7-6, 48.91 to 16th place, 8-6, and beating the 10-3 player brought our tiebreaker opponent match win percentage all the way up to 51.89. So we have a treat for our last match of the week. Oswego Mustang, also known as Mang on YouTube. That's right, he also has a YouTube channel. I'm going to link the video that he had for his week 3 experience up in the top right, where we played a match against each other here. So you can see at least part of game 3 from his perspective as well. Go ahead and drop a like and subscribe over on his channel as well if you want to support more AGL content like this. He is another AGL content creator here. Also, I don't know if you caught it, he does have a record of 3-10. Those of you who are astute listeners might remember that 11 losses is what eliminates you from the entire tournament. So if we are able to pull out the win in this one, we would eliminate Mang from the tournament, which, you know, hate to be the one to do it, but we did challenge each other this week. So did get this match in here. So another red-white deck, another aggressive red-white deck, and we're starting on the draw, which is not a great place to be. So I just represent a few more trading creatures. It was a little bit awkward trading the orphans for the scavenger there, but scavenger's a card that can really get out of hand real quick. So I just wanted to get that off the battlefield while I had the chance. And I'm not blocking because the Cult Healer can gain lifelink, which against another red-white deck I think is pretty important. And gosh, Arabella, what I would do for an Arabella in my pool. Card is really good. So I'm going to go ahead and play Glimmerlight, get the lifelink, equip the Cult Healer, and attack. And then I have to decide if he does choose to double block, which he doesn't, whether to get rid of the Fear or the Arabella. And I didn't have to make that choice, so thank you. But now this can block the Arabella, so we skip forward quite a bit here. We both stalled at 14. We got a bunch of creatures on board. But we have a 4/4 flyer here. He doesn't have a flyer, but he does have Jolly Balloon Man, which is another busted card. Razorkin Horde Caller. We do have a 5/5 Toby's Friend over there on the right. And now he's got Hospital Room unlocked, which means anytime he attacks, he's got +1/+1 counter to throw around on something. And still has 1 planes up. And I'm pointing at it right now because I know this is Jump Scare. We do have access to the card pool that the opposing player has to build from. And as I was sitting on there, I was looking through his entire pool, and Jump Scare is the only card in his entire pool he could be representing here. So I make sure to make the double block that still trades, even if he decides to go for Jump Scare here. So it's very nice when you're able to put your opponent on a very specific card and play around it effectively. So there is the Jump Scare. Does choose to trade with both of our creatures here. And woof, Dollmaker's Shop Porcelain Gallery off the top. And what a draw to break the synergy. And there's the nice. Which makes sense. Yeah, it is pretty nice when you draw it in these spots here. I was originally thinking just attacking with 1 creature, but full send. Math is for blockers. He eventually takes it all. Was able to put us down to 3 with the Jolly Balloon Man Friendly Ghost combo last turn, but it wasn't enough, and then we attack for like 50 damage here or something, and we are able to steal game 1. Almost threw it away there by going to 3, but we take those. So we go ahead and bring in Seize from Slumber on the draw, Infernal Phantom, which dies to kill a creature, and Omen of the Sun, pretty good against a bunch of X1s. Take out the expensive cards, ECD, Fear of Abduction, and on the draw, Trial of Agony as well. Go down to 6 with a 0 lander here. And have to figure out exactly what to keep. I mean, I kind of regret putting this one back at this point. I probably wish I would have done the Glassworks, but, you know, there's not much we can do. So, go ahead, play the Plains. We have Phantom on 2 here. It's about all we can do. And no 2-drop is very nice. Again, I play the Phantom over the Fear of Surveillance because I'd rather that trade with the Survivor. Or with the Dragonfire, I suppose. Enduring Innocence. Yeah. That's a card. Jolly Balloon Man, Enduring Innocence, Arabella. Those are the cards we've seen so far. But Omen of the Sun, what a draw here. Absolutely incredible draw. Has Flash, makes 2 1/1s, and we can block both of those creatures. But I'm thinking about Trapped in the Screen on the Innocence. He's only got 2 cards left in hand, and I really want to make sure that even if the Innocence dies, he doesn't get access to the enchantment that also continues to refill his hand. So I go ahead and get rid of the Enduring Innocence this turn for that reason. Doesn't exile a card. I do believe the Veteran Survivor can exile cards from your own graveyard, so probably could have exiled the Scorching Dragonfire if you had no plans to get it back there. But again, Omen of the Sun, completely wrecking Veteran Survivor here. Now, he is getting priority. This is very notable for what happens later in this game, and I still stand by the decision I made, and I'll explain why I did. But it cost me this entire game here. So, comes back, and I have Glassworks or Case of the Burning Mask to deal with his hand it feeds. Now, he got priority last turn, and the only card I could think in his pool that's relevant here is Jump Scare. So, I could play Case of the Burning Mask, and he could use Jump Scare and save his creature, and that's not great for me. Or I could use Glassworks on hand that feeds, and Jump Scare doesn't even save it. So, I'm trying to play around Jump Scare here. And you're going to see why that was a horrible mistake to make. Targeted, here comes the Wandering Rescuer. Why that's so horrible is, had I gone with Case of the Burning Masks, still would have saved it, but the Glassworks could have killed the Wandering Rescuer later. I don't even know when he drew the Sheltered by Ghosts, which would have given it, Ward 2 as well. So there's honestly not much. Once that resolved and we kind of made that mistake there, the game was well in hand. I think it's lifelink as well now. He's at 38. We're at 3. I mean, Jolly Balloon Man back on the field. So I have no idea how Mang is 3-10 in this tournament with Jolly Balloon Man, Wandering Rescuer, Arabella. There's a couple others, wasn't there? Yeah. Well, Enduring Innocence, all that stuff. So bring back in ECD because of that card there, and Trial of Agony back on the play. Take out Seize from Slumber, and on the draw, or on the play, I think Phantom is just a little bit too slow here. So make those sideboarding decisions. He goes to 6. And we have ourselves a doozy of a game 3. Just as the rest of the tournament really has been as well. Like I've mentioned, most of these matches have come down to like a turn or 2 in game 3 or in the deciding game of the match. It's been really, really close here. So we get Cheerleader on 2 and really hope that it's able to survive so that we can give it flying. That would be a nice aggressive start. And it looks like it is. So we'll play the Cult Healer and off we go. Mountain off the top would be outstanding to play the Buzz Crusher here, but here's Enduring Innocence. We knew about that one. And in the event of not wanting the Wandering whatever Rescuer, to save it, and in the event of lifelink being an issue, I do decide to get rid of that. And we have 2 more removal spells in hand. Can only cast 1 of them currently, though. So that's a bit awkward. And, yeah, he's got 2. 2 Enduring Innocence, Jolly Balloon Man, the Wandering Rescuer, Arabella. Again, no idea how this deck is 3 and 10. It's a really, really good deck. It's probably better than my red-white deck. But we go ahead and get rid of this one as well. Once again, trying to fight the lifelink. I'm trying to just race here. I mean, I got him at 8. No creatures on board. I'm hoping the Enduring Innocence cards aren't going to come back to make a difference here, because I can also unlock the Shattered Yard and just continually peck in. So there's Arabella. Draw 2 cards. Let's keep a tally here. I'm going to keep a tally down here. Well, I think I might have skipped forward a little bit, so you might not be able to see how many cards he draws over the course of this game, but spoiler alert, it's a lot. Here comes all the creatures with Arabella. We eventually wipe the board on both sides, make a bunch of trades. He's at 5. We have unlocked Shattered Yard, but we can't cast either card in our hand. So, once again, the Shattered Yard race is on. Alright, Frantic Scapegoat. That does have Menace. So, it at least punches in for 1 damage, puts him to 3. So he's got, what, 2 turns left? No, 3 turns left, I guess? Math is hard, figuring out when all this stuff triggers. Yeah, Enduring Innocence. You've already seen 6 cards. We skipped through a lot more than that. I need a second red source like last turn at this point. So, Jolly Balloon Man on the inside source. Triggering, making another 2/2 here. Yeah. It's brutal. Go to 19. Can I draw the second red? Yes, and thank goodness I did. Because the case could kill a creature, but I need to just put a Krenko's Buzz Crusher on the battlefield and pray for no removal. It's about all I can do left in this situation here. So play the Buzz Crusher, and the Scapegoat's going to trigger. And I could suspect the Buzz Crusher, which means it can't block. Notably, he killed the Scapegoat before I had to make that decision. But I'm going to decline to suspect it, because I need it to be able to block here. He's representing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points of damage on board currently. Very at the minimum. The Jolly Balloon Man could be more. Friendly Ghosts. Okay, let's draw more cards, sure. Pumps creatures as well. Scavenger must have been one of those 2 cards drawn. And again, this is the portion of the game you can see on his channel with the video I linked earlier. And see his decisions here. Friendly Ghost gets another trigger with a hasty 1/1 flyer. Have a couple of 4/6s. There's a Fear of Surveillance. Doing everything you can to push this through here. And math is for blockers, so send it all in. Here it comes. No priority, so there's no worry of jump scare here. So I go ahead and block the 2/2 and take 5, 6 plus 8 is 13? Is that right? 7? Yeah, I don't know. 15 maybe? Something like that. Sacrifice that and land, but it doesn't matter because Krenko's Buzz Crusher has trample. So we can get the 1 flying creature attack in. That's the only creature that can block, and it tramples over for 3. And an amazing game there at the end, coming down to the last turn. But unfortunately, we are the one that has to eliminate Mang from the tournament, the first eliminated player here, not due to drops. So we go from 8-6 to 9-6 in 11th place here in the league. We are 9-6. We have 4 more losses to give and need to win about 11 or 12 more matches. So an outside chance, but we're doing our best. We're doing our best. So this is the deck that we ended with here today and the deck that I will begin next week with. Hope y'all are enjoying this series. We are stuck at 9-6 for now. And hopefully next week we can have a good week at 4-1 or maybe pull out a 5-0 and really put ourselves in the conversation for top 8 here. So hope you're enjoying the series. Like I said, next Sunday will be my recap of week 4. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time here at Daily Draft.